How's it going, everyone? It's Milwaukee coming back at you once again, and today we're going to be discussing Batman, Death of the Family by Scott Snyder with art by Greg Capullo. Let's get into it. Story starts off with Batman issue 13. Joker heads to Gotham City Police Department so he can retrieve his face. Then the Joker informs the Gotham masses that the mayor will die at midnight. And while everybody is distracted on this, Joker heads to Wayne Manor to pay Alfred Pennyworth a visit. This issue also includes a backstory featuring the Joker and Harley Quinn. Next issue, Batman issue 14, Batman returns to Wayne Manor, only to find out that the Joker has taken Alfred and he means to go after Commissioner Gordon next. After securing Commissioner Gordon in the hospital, Batman tells Nightwing that Joker is going around town recreating some of his old crimes and that Nightwing needs to head to the reservoir. But Joker is a few steps ahead of Batman and he's already at the reservoir and he sets a trap for Batman and Nightwing. This issue also features a backup story where Joker and the Penguin negotiate a gang war. Next issue, Batman 15, Joker poisons Batman and ends up escaping the reservoir. Batman and the rest of the Batman extended family hold a meeting to discuss just how much the Joker may or may not know about them. Batman then goes on to follow a lead that takes him to Arkham Asylum. We get a backup story here where Joker challenges the Riddler to break out of his cell in Arkham Asylum so that he may join the festivities. Batman number 16. Batman invades Arkham Asylum. It takes on the entire population there, as well as a few notable rogues on his way to stop the Joker. We get a backup story here where Joker dismisses the Penguin, Riddler, and Two-Face. But before he does, he gives them a sneak peek of what's to come in the final supper for the Bat family. Batman issue 17, final issue of Death of the Family. Is it the last supper for the Bat family? And just what dish is Joker preparing to serve up? Who's gonna live and who's gonna die? And can the Bat family survive the turmoil? Well, you're just gonna have to read and find out. So that's the main driving story of the Death of the Family, crossover event. Just the 5 issues by Scott Snyder and Greg Capullo here. You could just read these and be fine, but I highly recommend that you don't. This event is made better by the tie-in issues, if you can believe it. So whereas this video just covers the 5 issues, the heart of the story, you really do yourself a disservice by not reading the other tie-in issues, which I'll cover in another video. This was at first a storyline that I didn't really start off liking. When it comes to Joker, I believe I've stated it, he's not my favorite Batman villain. I much prefer the Riddler, but when it comes to Joker, I prefer like a wacky Joker. And in Death of the Family, we get like this menacing super Joker, like the first issue when Joker invades Gotham City Police Department. He ends up like shutting off the lights, right? Cuts the power to the building. And he ends up killing 19 police officers. And there's nothing that Jim Gordon or Harvey Bullock or any of the notable cops can do about it, right? And he steals his face back, and he's just like this unstoppable super, villain. I really wasn't digging it at first, but as the story goes on, my mind started to change, especially with the tie-in issues. But if we just look at this core story, he goes from there to threatening the mayor, but it was all like a ruse to capture Alfred, and then he sets the trap for Batman and Nightwing at the Gotham Reservoir, and he reveals that he loves Batman, or Batman sees that his pupil dilates, and the dilation of the pupil means that he has a certain amount of love and affection for Batman, and it's I'm not really buying it. I don't think Joker's gay for Batman or anything like that, but I think he loves the cat and mouse game they play. He's a yin to his yang or whatever. They can't exist without each other. And a lot of the story in the end deals with, why hasn't Batman killed the Joker yet? And we, as a reader, are led to believe that he was going to kill the Joker this time. But of course, shenanigans, am I right? So it really deals with that, but also, Joker's motivation throughout this whole storyline of wanting to kill, the Bat family, because Joker believes that the Bat family is holding Batman back and making him weaker. So that's why he goes after the Bat family, and because he wants, Batman to be at his best. He feels like the year where Batman was away and Dick Grayson was Batman, that it really ruined Batman, and you've got Batman Incorporated with all these other Batman. It's really diluting his Batman. So he wants to bring it back down to it's just one-on-one, a more savage Batman versus this crazy Joker. And so I really enjoy like that whole motivation for why the story is even taking place in the first place. Also, this story I feel is much more than just a Joker story. It's sort of a whole other era for the Joker, because I know at some point he gets his face put back on somehow. I don't know how yet, but like this whole arc, he has his face strapped on, and it's really like grotesque. The artwork by Greg Capullo is some of like the best, worst, nasty art that you ever could see, only to be outdone by Patrick Gleason and the tie-ins, but that's neither here nor there. But just like the horror elements of this Joker, the fact that he spends the whole storyline wearing like that mechanic's garb from Joe's Garage or whatever. It really is like a defining era for Joker throughout this whole storyline. Like even the tie-ins, if you read the tie-ins, just randomly, you'll know, oh, this is from the Death of the Family era, because this Joker is so like defining. And so as I was reading it, I was wondering to myself, is this the greatest Joker story ever? I mean, he interacts with so many members of the Bat family. Not necessarily in this volume. Like I said, you're doing yourself a disservice if you don't read the tie-ins, because they really up the stakes and make this story better than what it is just contained in this volume. But the way he interacts with Batgirl and Nightwing and Robin and Red Hood, Catwoman, James Gordon, I really feel like it is kind of like a defining story. Like if you were to hand somebody a Joker story, they're like, I want to read the best Joker story ever written. Some people might say, oh, we'll go with The Killing Joke, or maybe something like Batman the Three Jokers, which I never read before. But and Killing Joke is referenced in this book. The Joker Fish storyline is referenced in this book. Red Hood, his whole the whole backstory that Alan Moore gave him, referenced in the book. So it sort of takes things from like all the best Joker stories and puts them in here to create like the ultimate Joker story. I don't know. What do you guys think on that? I think my favorite part of the story is the ending. Yeah, Joker getting away, maybe view that as a disappointment. Nobody really being hurt or maimed. Maybe you view that as a disappointment. I was a little confused here because I remember Alfred getting hurt, shall we say. But I guess that takes place in the Endgame storyline. I thought that happened here, but I was mistaken. So when everybody got away kind of scot-free, you're kind of like, oh, well, I guess what was even the point of all that? Well, really, what happens at the end is when, Bruce Wayne, he sets up like a family dinner so they can all discuss what happened. And everybody starts calling him up on the phone. They're like, hey, I can't make it. And it's like, it really is sort of like the death of the family, right? There's a trust that's been broken here between Batman and the rest of his family. I'm not saying they don't want anything to do with him, but in the moment, he's calling on them to, hey, let's all get together, and suddenly they all got something better to do. It's like the Joker won in the end, even if he really didn't. I thought that was great. The whole thing with the new Joker toxin and the fucking periodic table element being HA, ha 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 all over, laughing. I thought that was well handled and great by Scott Snyder. As displeased as I was with the whole Owls storyline, I feel like Scott really made up for it here with this one. And I'm looking forward to what he does next. I think it's the 0 year storyline, but I could be mistaken. But we'll just have to keep reading to find out. So yeah, with all that being said, I'm gonna go ahead and give Batman Death of the Family a 5 out of 5. Good stuff. Even better with the tie-ins, if you can believe it. Usually tie-ins are just garbage and cash grabs, but these tie-ins actually make the story better. Although there are some imperfections with timeline stuff, as like how could these characters be two places at once? But that's comic books for you. The core of the story contained here in this volume, the 5 issues. Good stuff. Highly recommended. Until next time, I'll see you there.